First step is to download the Linux operating system. How do we do that? We go to www.ubuntu. Yeah, it's just ubuntu.com. So you can type in the www. It won't make a difference here. But yeah, then we go to downloads. We click on the arrow. We go for Ubuntu desktop. Ignore these others for now. I will tell you what they are in time. And I believe many of you might even understand if you're already at my channel. But yeah, so we will go for the LTS version. LTS stands for long-term support. It means that for the next 5 years after this release, so I think this is a 2020 release, for the next 5 years there will be updates, that is security and the driver updates, which will be available for this particular version of the desktop software of the operating system. So we just click on download, sorry, 20.04, and we will automatically get the ISO file. You will get a download option, and we can click save file, and we can say OK, and this will automatically start downloading. Now you can see that I already have it here, and so I will not be downloading it again. Yeah, so after this, the next step comes in creating a bootable USB, and we will be doing that using a software called Rufus. And we come here, rufus.ie. Yeah, this seems to be the correct site. Open the site, and you will see some photos. Scroll down, download, and the latest version, that is Rufus 3.17. Just click, and it should begin give you the save file option. We have rufus.exe 3.17.exe, and we run this. We run this. We say yes. We allow. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this prompt. Mostly you can't, but I got a prompt showing if I want to allow. If you're not the administrator on your device, then you will need the password. And I said yes, and that opens up with Rufus. Yes, welcome to Rufus. Now at this point of time, make sure that your before opening Rufus that your pen drive is attached to the system. And yeah, as you can see, it has already picked up my pen drive. That is the Tech Archaeologist pen drive. And you're wondering why I'm using 64 GB. You don't actually need a 64 GB pen drive. 8 GB pen drive is more than enough. 64 is just because I had it lying around here. You select which disk. So first I will say FreeDOS. Okay. And yeah, so it will make some certain settings. After which I have to select from here what I will be installing. So in the downloads, you will have your Ubuntu 20.04.3 desktop AMD 64 image. You just need to select and say open. Don't double click. Yeah, just select and say open, and it is opened. And all these settings will be done automatically. You need not interfere with them. Next, you say start, and it will give you another option, ISO hybrid, etc. So you say write in ISO mode, which is recommended. You say OK, and after this, yes. So all the data will be erased or destroyed. And yeah, so yeah, so there was this option here for quick format. It is better you back up your pen drive before you do this. So if you remove quick format, of course the data won't be gone, but I want to format it anyways. And we say OK. You might see another option here which tells you that there is some version incompatibility which had come up to me the first time I did this. So it needs to install or it needs to download from the web some other files which are required for this ISO to be means for the pen drive to be properly configured. In that case, please be connected to the internet. Please say yes. You will have to find out how to boot into the USB drive on your system. And what I mean by that is on your motherboard specifically. So you have to either you have to open your system, or if it's a laptop, you have to search up online. Just like we did with what is Linux, there will be many resources available. And it's nearly done. Analyzing, yes. So once it's done, we just say close, and then we can go and eject our pen drive. Oh, it's USB 3.2 Gen 1. Yeah. So we eject our pen drive, and it lets me eject my pen drive. And now I will see you in the video, since on the other system we need to move.
So this is an old system. I have been using it for quite some time. And let's go here. So I press the button and I have started, and soon you will be able to see the display on the screen. I think you can already hear the noise. Yeah, it's quite loud. That is true. And here you can see the options down boot menu. I press F12 very quick, and some devices might not even have a boot menu that is visible to you. So to do this, what else you can do is you can just go into the BIOS. That too will not be visible. There are certain ways of doing that in Windows, and I will be linking that into another video, into the subsequent video, if you will, and we will see that there on the laptop itself. But as of now, as you can already see, it has a boot menu, and in this boot menu we go to USB HDD. So, and it continues into booting there. Yeah, so now it has found the Linux system disk, and it will directly boot into the Linux system. So as you can see, Ubuntu is loading. So yeah, it is giving me this option right here to whether I want to install or whether I want to try. So we are going to connect our mouse. Yes, the mouse is on, and I'm going to say try Ubuntu, and we are into the Linux OS. And as you can see here, it's simple to use, it's working quite fast. As of now, let's go for installing Ubuntu. I believe it has, yeah, it has. So this thing has come up here. Yeah, okay, so it's already there, and I will say English, of course, as our language. I hope you guys can see that. Maybe increase the brightness slightly. Yeah, and let's say continue. Yeah, and I request you to generally keep it like this, English US keyboard layout, both sides just English US, and we continue. So yeah, and now when we come here, it asks us what we would like to do: a normal installation, minimal installation, download updates. So I would recommend that you don't download updates while installing, because doing this sometimes causes issues later. Secondly, I recommend that you install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware, because yeah, that allows you to better access them, and use certain software are required even by your browser to play certain videos or YouTube, etc. online. And we will go for a normal installation. If you don't want much stuff, then you can go for minimal, but again I insist on a normal. Yeah, continue. So we are back here, and it's come to the next screen. Now the installation type. So if you have Windows installed on your system, so as it currently shows, as I said before, it has Windows and Ubuntu already installed. So this is what is called a dual boot, and this can be done in one of two ways. So let's say there is only Windows 10 and no Ubuntu. Then what it will show here is erase Windows 10 and install Ubuntu, or it will show install Ubuntu alongside Windows 10. So if you want to do a dual boot and the software is giving you an option here, you can do that. Or what you can do is erase the disk and install Ubuntu. Or the third option, if it's not showing you the Windows 10 option here, you can do something else. Okay, but in this you have to resize and multiple partitions, etc., which we will not be doing here. It's a little bit complex, and I will be linking resources below so that you can do that. And we come back here, so erase Ubuntu and reinstall. So we don't want to do that. I don't actually need the Windows 10 operating system here, and it doesn't work fully. So I will just erase disk and install Ubuntu. So erase disk and install. We say continue. So now it will show me my disks. So I currently have 2 disks on the system, but if you have only 1 disk, it will show only that disk. So as we have said, erase disk and install Ubuntu, it is going to format the entire disk. Okay, so yeah, you see this 240 SDA partition here, it says SDA. So that is the exact partition that is going to be formatted. Now if you are trying to dual boot, or if you have data on your disk, now is the time to quit this close this thing, go back to your normal operating system and back up all the stuff. Okay, because once I do this, there is no going back. So I say install now, and yeah, so write changes to disk, and yeah, as it will also give you a warning. It will destroy any partitions and data. So instead of go back, I will say continue. Okay, yeah, the time period. So yeah, so we are in Mumbai. I am from Mumbai. So we click here. Essentially, it will just take up Kolkata as our time zone, and we continue. Yeah, so yeah, it asks you for your name, and from that it determines your computer name. So I have put in the username and password, and yeah, so the username automatically becomes my name, that is TTA, and yeah, the password I have put in, it will give me a recommendation good password, in fact excellent password too if it's quite long and has, you know, a mixed digits, etc. I would suggest that you do require my password to log in, since to perform certain actions on Linux you need to know your password, and doing this and using the system at least once a week allows you to, means it will guarantee that essentially that you remember your password and don't forget it. And we say continue. So yeah, it's saying almost finished copying files. So let it copy files, let all of this happen. As I said before, it shows that the installation has finished, and we can continue. And now I will just say restart now. Let's see what happens. So it goes into restart, and just as that is happening, will show me, yeah, so it says exactly what I said. Please remove installation medium and press enter. So the installation medium here is your pen drive. Remove the pen drive from wherever it is connected and press enter. And I press enter, and as you can see the screen goes blank. It selects again. That is my graphics card. This is the motherboard, and now I need not do anything. Now everything should load automatically, and it will load Ubuntu fast. Yes. So now I should get my username and password, the login prompt, and once I log in, my operating system is ready, and we will continue from the next video on. Yes, so all I do is I have to click on this TTA, that is my account name. Let me enter the password. Entered, press enter. Yes. So I will skip this. Live patch needs an account to be set up with, so let's just say next. Help improve Ubuntu. Yes, we allow them to send information to Canonical, who is responsible for maintaining and developing Ubuntu, and we say next. Privacy, location services, yeah, don't need that, off. Yeah, softwares to install can be done later, done. That's it. You're ready to use Ubuntu. You can have, just create a new folder. I'm name it TTA, and on this, oh yeah, of course we forget that videos YouTube. Okay, and of course the videos YouTube folder gets created. Double click, it's an empty folder. That's it. So yeah, now you can see a list of updates as long as internet is connected, and now you can install these updates without an issue. Please do install these updates, I recommend them, but not while installing the operating system. And we will wait for it. It should happen quite soon. So yeah, it's my two hard disks here, both are master mode. Yeah, so the grub turns up. Now what the grub is, okay, this is a mess. Yeah, so this, if you are cleaning the hard disk and installing it, this should not show up. In fact, it will not show up, but since it has showed up here, I'm just going to say Ubuntu. This is my disk on the SDA, that is the secondary disk A. So the whole grub thing you saw, you need not worry about. So we saw numerous stuff listed there. If you do a dual boot install, then you will be able to see that, and there it will show you your Windows operating system. So the so the BIOS loads grub, and then the grub loads the bootloader of the respective operating system. So grub is also a bootloader in itself. So it allows you to decide which operating system you want to start in case of a dual boot, which means you have both operating systems on your hard disk, which means on your system, PC, laptop, whatever it may be. Hey guys, so this is a continuation of what we were doing, and a small section which I think I recorded later. So this I have entered my BIOS, and there is another way of actually booting into your pen drive. So what you do is you come down here, and was it this? Yes. So in advanced BIOS peripherals, or there will be a section called boot in later BIOSes. Whatever it is called in your BIOS, it can be under different names. Just check. So you will see this boot device, or boot priority. These three here: first boot device, the fourth line, the fifth line, and the sixth line. The second boot device and the third boot device. Okay, so my second boot device is the hard disk. First is the floppy. Now this is a fail-safe defaults which I had loaded once, and yeah. So there are one or two things I want to change here. Anyway, so first boot device I will put it up as the hard disk right now. But if you want to boot into your pen drive, you should set it as USB HDD as shown here as well. And once you do that, it will always boot into your pen drive first. So you need to make sure that you change it back later, or you never attach a pen drive again when you're turning your PC on. Otherwise it will always try to boot into the pen drive. Now my second boot device I can have as the USB. Okay, and the third as the CD-ROM, which is currently disconnected, though I have one. And we come down here, so frame size buffer I actually don't need one, so I will disable it. Is there an auto option? No, there is not an auto option. Okay, so the rest of it you need not be worried about right now. Even the last thing which I did, just remember you can do it this way too.